Let's take Thums Up as an example to truly understand this principle. So if you remember Thums Up commercials over the last many decades, their target audience has not changed. From campaign to campaign, from brand endorser to brand endorser, many things have changed about Thums Up. But what has remained unchanged is the core target audience that those campaigns speak to, which is adventurous and macho image-seeking teens. And while this particular audience may represent only 15 or 20% of actual Thums Up consumers, they've been very rigid in going after this audience. And frankly, they have absolutely no other choice. When you're up against competitors like Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, and all of these high-spending cola brands, your only chance of survival is when you're truly differentiated as a brand. And to be differentiated, you cannot be all things to all people, which means your optimal strategy is to choose a set of consumers which you call super consumers that you are not going to just attempt to satisfy, but go ahead and delight them with your product, with your brand, with your communication. And then the rest of your consumers who are still your consumers, you are going to ensure that you satisfy them. In the case of Thums Up, satisfaction could mean offering a good tasting product at a reasonable price, which is well distributed so that consumers can easily find them. That's all that they're accepting to do for the rest of their consumers, but for that core audience, they're choosing to go ahead and delight them. The fact that you need to be sharp while defining your communication target audience is an immutable law of marketing. You cannot break this, no major brand breaks this. However, what is that sharp audience that you are going to call your super consumer? That is a function of your product and your business strategy. In the case of Thums Up, since food tastes are developed in the early part of a person's life, most food brands like Thums Up need to target either kids or teenagers or young adults, or target the parents of these children such that they have an early entry into the person's life. So let's say a teenager named Karthik sees a Thums Up ad 15 years ago, becomes interested in the brand and decides to start consuming Thums Up. Now, cut to 15 years later, Karthik has married and is setting up his own household. Karthik loves Thums Up. His wife, on the other hand, loves another cola brand. Which brand is going to come into the household? Is it going to be both the brands or just one of their brands? You can imagine that over a period of time, their choices are likely to coalesce into one particular brand, which is going to be their most frequently bought brand. And that brand will belong to the person who is most unreasonably loyal to their own brand, who is simply insurgent, who refuses to consume any other drink other than their own choice. And so if Karthik's love for Thums Up trumps his wife's love for another brand, over a period of time you will find that Thums Up comes more into their household. And since Thums Up comes more into their household, their children are also more likely to start consuming Thums Up, and that's how the brand continues to do well. And that's why when expert brand builders launch campaigns, they don't go after these large audiences and just, add a little bit of delta to their lives. No. What they tend to do is to pick a sharper communication audience and then go ahead and delight that communication audience with their campaign. So we're clear that the communication audience has to be sharp. That does not mean that the media target audience has to be equally sharp. Karthik 15 years ago may have been part of the communication target audience, but 15 years later is still consuming the brand. And if he sees an ad on YouTube of Thums Up, he's likely to go ahead and buy that brand, even though the particular campaign does not appeal to him as much as it would to a new 15-year-old today. And so therefore, when you are defining your media audience on platforms like Facebook, Google, or on traditional media channels, the media targeting is very wide. You go after large sets of audiences. But when you are defining a campaign, you are forced to be very, very sharp.